G'day elites, welcome back to Murphy's Magic Saturday Sorcery. How are you? My name is Beau. I hope you're having an incredible Saturday so far, and it's been the best Saturday ever in the entire universe, and now you're ready to learn an insane way to steal any object off your spectators. What? You are? Well, you've come to the right place, because have I got the gimmick for you. Now, this gimmick actually came about is because I wanted to be able to steal a ring or a coin or any small object off my spectator using what every magician uses. Now, I played around with a couple of different variations, which we'll get to in just a little bit, but I wanted to create an object that would seem very easy, very natural, and I spent quite a bit of time on this actually, so I hope you enjoy it. Now, before we get into the performance of the deck still, please keep in mind that this is meant for real life. This isn't meant for camera, because the camera is literally burning everything that I do right now, whereas real life, you could misdirect, you could talk to your audience, they could be looking at you could be looking at them, having a laugh, but the camera's watching everything that I do. So that being said, let's get into the performance. Now imagine this, I take a deck of cards out of my pocket, I take them, open them up, and remove the cards from the tuck. Now if you were here, what I would do is I'd borrow the ring from you. But since you're not here, we're going to take it from the top of the camera, and we're going to pretend that this is in fact your ring. So we'll put this inside the tuck, so you can see here, it's inside the tuck, and we're going to push it back and close everything up, keeping it nice and secure and safe inside. Now like I mentioned, if you were here, what I would do is I'd get you to hold your hand out nice and flat for me. But since you're not here, I'm going to hold it. You can hear that this ring is inside the tuck case. Now, at a moment's notice, at any time you want it to, you can hear the ring inside the tuck, right? But when you want it to, if you went down, you hear it. It sounds like it's disappeared, correct? The crazy part, it actually has. But how far has it actually gone? When it actually just reappears on my hand. Now, I know you're quite busy and we only have 87,500 years to get through this tutorial. So let's jump downstairs right now and learn how to build this gimmick. Now to build this gimmick, you're gonna need a couple of things. You need a ruler, some adhesive or some double-sided tape, some tweezers to help with your double-sided tape, a coin or any small object to stick into your rattle box, an X-Acto knife, again, be careful with sharp objects, pen or marker to mark things out, your deck that you're going to build everything into, and an extra box you're going to use to cut up and use pieces of this box. Now first things first, let's get into building your shell and your slider gimmick for your deck. Now with your ad cards and your jokers removed, you can give the deck a shuffle if you like, if you want to have spread through the cards and have it in random order. Doesn't really matter. We're just going to get into now cutting up your deck. Now here comes the super fun but super long part of this gimmick build. You're going to cut up along here, down here, along here, and up here, removing this center part. And you're going to do this to 45 cards. You're going to leave 7 cards out, leave them aside. You're not going to touch those. Those are going to be used for your slider and the back part of the deck, all that kind of stuff. So do this to only 45 cards. Now get into cutting. 1 down, 44 to go.
5 minutes later.
Okay, so here we are. We've cut out all of our cards. And we have a couple left over that we're going to turn into our slider gimmick. Let's do that now. We're going to put one aside. That is going to sit on the bottom of our deck, and that is going to get set aside. Now we have these cards, let's build our slider. Now we're going to take one of these other cards, and we want this hole here to be cut out, but we want to take the same hole out. So we're going to come down here. So when cutting down here, you want to come down to just over halfway, just past there, and do the same on the other side. We're going to cut out a square here. Now this is going to be where your ring or your coin is going to drop into. We need to build a little slider into here. So to do this, we're going to come here and cut out a rectangle down here. Rectangle down here. Cut. And cut. Take that out. And do the same on the other side. Now this is going to sit on here. We're going to have a piece of card in behind here, which is going to attach to our card, but it's going to slide up and down here, inside here, and then we're going to have another piece on the top. Now for our top cover part of our slider, we obviously want to cover this hole up when we turn it over. We don't want any of this to be seen. So we're going to come up above our lines here, so maybe to the bottom of this little spade shape here, and you can see down here this comes down to about maybe the foot of this angel. So we're going to come down to maybe the knees. So we're going to cut out a rectangle, but we don't want to come to here. We want to come out to where this is here. So maybe out to this white line here, across, up, and across. So here, this is where we get our ruler. And cut out along here. pop that out. So this is the bit that's going to sit on top of here, blend into here, so. And that's going to slide up and down. This obviously needs to attach to a bit that's going to sit behind here and help slide. So we're going to use the same bit of card. Using some scissors, let's cut straight down that line there. Cut straight down that line there. Doesn't really matter because this will never be seen. And cut straight across. So this is going to sit in behind here, like so. That. It's going to sit on top, and all this is going to slide down together. We need to get this up to the same level as this. So this is where these little bits come in handy here. And just thin this out so it's going to sit inside these little edges a little bit more. So trimming those edges off, you can see there's a gap either side here. It's going to sit nicely inside here without getting caught on either side of these runners. We then want to cut little pieces off. So knowing that 1 will be the same height as this, 2 will get you up a little bit higher than this, so you're less likely to rub and cause friction on this bottom card. You can go 3 if you like, completely up to you. It depends how much height you want from this card up to this card. Using either double stick tape or glue here, completely up to you. You want to attach these little pieces to each other. Obviously, if you have glue with a bit more of a finer point, you can definitely do that with this, but I'm just using another piece of card just so I can dab. And this won't dry out unless there's something stuck on top of it, so I can just keep going as much as I like. Do that one more time. Now before we attach this to here to have it to slide up and down, we're going to take another card. I'm going to come right up into this white edge here, up and around, and all the way around. This is going to act as a frame for these pieces here. Now that's taken out. This is going to sit in here. This is going to sit on here. And this is going to sit on top. So let's get into construction of this now. We're going to take our little bit of our shell frame. So the same pieces of this here. Put this down here. Get some double stick tape. Cut off the length. And we're going to attach it to this piece here. I'm going to cut this in half. And attach it to this piece here. Now we're going to attach it to this card here. So taking our tweezers, pulling off our sticker. Pulling off this other side here. Holding your shell frame inside your hand. You're going to line this up and drop it down. Now that's nice and stuck down here. We're going to attach this piece to here. But before we do that, again, some more double-sided tape. And again, on this side. Trim both your sides up. You want to put this bit inside here first before you put that slider on over top. But now you can put this in on over top. Again, line everything up. Push down. You got the bottom part of your slider in. Now let's attach this to your top part. Now this in place, you obviously don't want this on a bit of an angle, otherwise you can get caught. So you want this as straight as possible inside here. So that looks pretty good. Now we're going to attach these pieces here. Drop that in. Straighten that up a little bit. There we go. So now you can see here, we can slide it up and down from the sides here. Straight. And now we're going to add some glue to the back of these. Make sure that's nice and neat and straight. And then attach this and line all this up so it's nice and straight. Take your time with this. And there you go. That's your slider that can slide up and down now. You're going to bring your slider back down to where you want it to be. So here, you're going to turn your card over, peel this back piece off, and we're going to add some stoppers in here. So we're going to take some tape, put your card where you want it to be. So here, put some tape to hold it in place. Turn your card over and we're going to add some stoppers in here. So when this comes up to here, this part of the card is going to stop here. We're going to take another piece of card, cut off a bit of length. Cut off a piece here. And all we're going to do is here, stick this inside here and have this come down and stop here. This piece here is sitting too high than this piece. So we have to stick another piece of this card together. So now that's all stuck in place, we want to remove this piece of tape. So now the piece of tape is removed, you can see this is going to slide up and down, but we've got this piece in the way here. So we're just going to use a knife, go through and trim this out, and remove this. Then we're going to stick this back onto here. So turn this over, double stick tape. Line this up and attach it down. Now this is all attached. You can slide down now. You can see how nice and easy this is coming up and down to get your coin or your ring in and out. Now that is your slider done and finished. If you do want a little bit more stability and a little bit more thickness and rigidity to this slider gimmick, you can always attach a bit more of this shell gimmick here and attach that down. And that makes it a bit more sturdier. But just remember when you do that this won't be loose anymore. This will be all nice and rigid. So you'll have a nice little thick packet here for your slider gimmick. But that's your slider done. So now let's get into the rattle box. Now for your rattle box, all you're going to need is your box, another empty box, and a couple of your shell gimmicks to sit inside. Now, why use these pieces? Well, you're going to add thickness to inside your box, so you're not going to need these extra pieces, so you might as well use them for your coin. Now, to make sure you have this the right height, you want to lay your coin down, get your pieces of your shell, put this down. That could be, yeah, that looks about right actually. So how many pieces of it there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 bits of the shell gimmick is the same height as a 10-pence piece. Maybe one card too high, but that's good. It gives me a little bit of room to have the coin properly rattle about inside here. So now we're going to go through and stick all these pieces together. That's it. That's where my coin is going to rattle about. Now using this extra box, we're going to cut down here, keeping this bottom part and keeping the top flap here. Now we're going to attach our rattle box shell to this piece here. We're going to come down, put some glue on the back of here. Oop, oop, oop. Let's set this down. Now this is going to sit inside your box like so, with the coin underneath here. Now we're going to create our stopper for a rattle just in here. It depends whether you want the deck upright or upside down when you want it to stop. So if you want it this right way up, you're going to put your stopper down here. If you want it upside down, you're going to put it up the top here, so closest side to this tab. Now there are a couple of different other ways you can make the rattle stop. You can either use magnets or pressure. You can look into those yourselves, but probably the easiest way I like to do it is the gravity fed method. Is when the deck is up the wrong way, it's going to slide into a little stopper here that's going to stop it from moving about. Now to do that, we're going to use our last 2 cards left over. I'm going to create like a little funnel shape here, little V shape if you will, where this coin is going to slide down and not be able to move about. So I'm going to cut out the center bit, so we're the right shape already. I'm going to sit this in here, so when the coin is down the bottom here, it's going to rattle about. Then when it turns up the wrong way, it's going to slide into here and not be able to move. Obviously, we'll make that a couple of thick, so it's not going to slide up over top. Down to here, and then cut out along those lines. Then stick your piece down inside. Put your coin in, you see here. They're going to rattle about. Rattle. Not rattle. Now if you want, you can obviously make this thicker in here, bring this all the way up to the top part here, so there's less chance of this coin getting up and over into here and getting really stuck. Completely up to you. You don't need to cut out all these extra bits. You could also just use these little bits here. Cut bits, strips off. Double stick tape. Double stick tape. Now your coin's in. Rattle, not rattle. Obviously don't check it up and down because it's going to rattle, but left and right. Left and right, it's not going to go anywhere. That's going to move. Now we can attach this inside your box. Now before you put this inside your box, you want to modify your box. Now the best way to do this is you want this piece at the top of the deck. You're going to open from here to let the ring or coin out. So you don't want to have this upside down. You do not cut along this line here. Do not, I repeat, do not cut along this line here. You're going to cut along this bottom line here. So take your X-Acto knife, come down through here, come down and cut across. And that will open up that back part here. Now you can take these tabs off. Now these tabs are taken off. We want to attach them to here. So when you open up the tuck, you can see these little tabs inside the box. So some more double stick tape. You don't have to do this. This is a nice little thing that I like to add in. So it's a little bit more added detail. Now we're ready to put this inside our tuck box. First, we need to cut along here, remove this top half. We then want to take this sticker off. Now, why remove this sticker if this is going to be sitting inside the tuck? That's a great question. Now, this is because if there's a tiny little bit of black sticker just popping up here, when you open up the lid here, you might see a tiny little black line along here, and you don't want that. So remove that sticker off, then add some double stick tape. Double stick tape. Double stick tape. Add your coin in, obviously. Make sure your coin's in there. Now when sliding this into your box, you make sure that this part here is against this part here. So this orientation. So fold your lid back a bit. And enter it in. Slide this down as far as you can go towards the bottom. Line everything up and push up. Now here, fold this back to along here and press down. And then here we want to push this bottom piece out. Like so. Now with this, you can either remove this back piece off here, which I'll probably do. Now before I attach this piece to here, you see here the card add a bit of thickness here. This obviously hangs out just a tad, so we want to make sure that it sits nice and flush. We're going to square this up like everything is closed. Put a little mark here on the card. Mark here on the card. And then we're going to cut that off. So with a pair of scissors or a knife or a ruler, depends on how you want to do it. I'm just going to line this up here and here. Now that will sit nice and flush and neat. Now because this bit is just slightly smaller than the box now, when I push this in, this will lock into place inside the box here. And this bit is now attached to this bit, so it will hold it in place and sit flush against the bottom of the box. So push that in there like so. Stick everything down so it's nice and tight. But now you've got your box. Now one last little thing, if you're finding your box is super tight and it's not getting as much open as you want to, what you can do is run your knife along the back here and cut this. And then close up your box like normal. Use a Sharpie to push everything down. Now that's it, your gimmick is now complete. Let's head upstairs and learn how to perform everything. Now, how was that? Was it hard? Look, it took a while, but it wasn't super hard, right? Because you're super clever and you know what's going on. Look, hold it up for me. Ho, ho, ho. Delicio, that looks incredible. Way better than mine. Now, without any further ado, let's get into the handling. And as I talk through the handling, I'll talk about different variations that I created along the way. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can perform this. You can have the slider closed like so before you even start the effect, or you can have it open. It depends on how quickly and how much you want to show the deck before you get into it. For the performance you saw me do, I had the slider already open and inside the tuck. Now let's get into the setup of how it should look inside your tuck case. So your tuck case should be open, the back way out. And what you're going to do is your hole for your slider is going to be at the bottom of your tuck. So it's going to look like this. And that's going to go inside your tuck case like so. And then close everything up. Now you're ready to perform. What would look like this, you should show the spectator the tuck. You would open it up, having obviously the slider hole away from your spectator so they're seeing this front part of the tuck. And then you're going to dump the cards out. So you're going to give them a shake and take the cards out like so. So this is what the spectator's seeing. They're seeing a nice like loose deck too. It's not like quite thick and holding together. It can come apart like this. Then you're going to put the tuck on top of your deck like so and show inside. That's what the spectator's seeing. So the exposed view looks like this. You show your tuck case off. You're going to turn the tuck over, open up these little flaps and take out the deck. So this is what you're seeing. You're going to then turn the tuck case over and put it on top of the hole and aim everything down towards your spectator. So they're getting a nice look inside the tuck. Now, alternatively, if you wanted this closed when you go into your performance, all you're going to do, so when you take it out and you're here, they can actually show the top of the deck briefly to the spectator before you put the tuck case down on top of it. Then when you put the tuck case down on top, you're just going to slide the slider back with your fingers, revealing that hole. In either case, you're going to end up in this position. The spectator is seeing inside the tuck case here, and this is what you're seeing. You're going to take that ring and put it inside the tuck case like so. You're then going to close it up and close up the tuck case. Then in the motion of asking the spectator to hold out their hands, you're going to come back and readjust, opening up this little flap here. And tilt back slightly, and that ring is just going to fall, or that ring or coin is just going to fall straight inside this hole. So you can see it in here now. That again, you're here, you ask the spectator to hold their hand out, you come back, grab your flap, open it up, and slide that ring inside the hole. Now you want to hand the tuck case out to the spectator, so again, you're going to get them to hold their hand out or pull their hand forwards and grab the tuck. Now on the back of here, you're going to push on this little flap, pushing it inside the tuck case slightly. Now I've over-exaggerated it here by, you can see pushing it inside here, but you're going to push it slightly inside the tuck case, holding that in position. So when you drop this onto the spectator's hands, it sits and this little flap doesn't open up. So you're pushing as you hand it out to the spectator and giving it a shake. You're then going to drop that in the spectator's hand. But also in the motion of pushing this and handing it out, you're going to use your thumb and grabbing the back of your flap and sliding it up So imagine the tuck case here. You're going to use your thumb, sliding that slider up and handing that tuck case out. So at speed, you're here, you grab, slide, and hand that out, giving it a shake. You can then flash this to the spectator. You're just going to see a regular deck. You hand this to them, and they can also give it a shake if they want. Then, like I mentioned, you could play with the deck if you wanted to, or you could slightly spread through the cards. But the best part is you can actually hold the deck so freely, so openly, like this, nothing funny going on. They're not going to think there's a ring inside this at all. You can even hold the deck like this and say, okay, you all got the ring inside there, give it a shake, they give it a shake. Obviously, don't shake your deck because you're going to hear a ring inside. You can be so free, so open with this. They're giving the tuck a shake, and all you're going to do is ditch this into your pocket. Now, in my version I did when you saw me perform this, I went down and put this in my back pocket. And then inside my pocket, I opened up the back card, put my ring finger inside the ring, slid it out, and put it on my finger or my back pocket while I was ditching everything out, pushing it back on with my thumb, all in the motion of while I was grabbing the tuck back off the spectator. Now you're here, you're taking the deck back off the spectator or the tuck, giving it a shake, and you can still hear the ring inside the box. Now here you can obviously give the box a shake as much as you like. You can still hear that ring inside the box. Now whenever you're ready, you're going to turn this deck, the tuck case up, which is going to lock that ring inside that little V-neck locking mechanism. It's now locked inside. The spectator's going to go, what's happened? You go down to show and open it up. And they're going to look inside and see absolutely nothing inside the tuck case. Now, one thing you don't want to do is obviously show the box like this, come back down, and then give the box a rattle, loosening that coin up and obviously making that rattle noise. You can come back slightly and kind of rotate the box as you come back, and now the coin is down in this position here. You can then close up the box, ditch the box into your pocket, and now you've got the ring. Now, a couple of cool things you could do with this ring, either when you ditch it into your pocket and you steal it out, you can put it on a ring flight, you could make it appear in a possible location, in your shoe, wherever you want. The best part is you're so far ahead of the spectator, they think their ring is still safely hidden inside the tuck case. Now, but the best part, because the tuck case is inside the spectator's hands, and after you've done the lock of the coin, they could obviously open it up and see that the coin or the ring is now completely vanished out of the tuck case. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now there's so much information to digest, and I know there's a lot to go over. So let's take a second to do the mid-episode giveaway. But before we get into this week's giveaway, let's get into last week's giveaway and who won the torn and restored gimmick. And that special gimmick that no one's gonna know about. Congratulations, Ken Garrick, my friend. You won the torn and restored gimmicks. If you could email me just here, I'll get those prizes sent straight out to you wherever you live in the world. Now into this week's giveaway, where you can actually win the rattle box and the shell slider gimmick that I made, seen in this video. Now, how do you win this competition, I hear you ask? Well, that is a great question. All you need to do is comment below what objects you would steal, nay, borrow from your spectators, whether it be a ring, a magnet, or a photo with a little chicken on it, or a coin, whatever it may be. All you need to do is enter it in the comment section below, and I'll choose someone out at random and be announced in next week's video. Plus, as an extra little bit of hype, make sure you like the video, because I will check if you're the winner and you like the video, and I'll send an extra little bit of magic out for you as well as a secret prize. So get crazy and add your ideas below. Good luck. Now, like I mentioned, this whole version came about as me wanting to steal an object off a spectator, and originally I had just the tuck case. The tuck case was now a rattle box, so I could steal an object and have it sound like it was inside, but also have it seem very empty. I also wanted to be able to steal the object out of the tuck. And originally I had a slider on the back here. So this whole back piece was a slider here, which I slid up and everything slid out. I got rid of this idea quite quickly, as I wanted the tuck case to be handed to a spectator, and if they were to run their hands over it, they're gonna feel sliders and buttons all over the back of this tuck case, which I didn't like. My next version had a flat mechanism, it had magnets inside, so when I loaded it on top of the deck, I opened it up and added like a kind of ramp that slid right down inside of the deck. Now, while this worked really well, I had the same issue as before. I didn't want the spectator to see a flap or a nice big cut inside the tuck, which then led me to this version right here, where you can actually hand this out to the spectator and them not feel or find anything funny about it. Now onto the deck shell, where like I mentioned before in the tuck case, where we had that little flap that pivoted down, this top part was originally a flap that went down. And while this is also quite good and it slid in, I wanted a way to be able to open and close that flap quite easily without having any dramas or those magnets getting caught or anything like that. And once I ditched the flap off the tuck case, I came up with the slider. And this quickly became the easiest and smartest option, as the easiest way to open it was literally run your fingers down the slider and your easy access to the hole. Now, one thing you could do is you could also glue up all your cards to your deck shell, so it's a nice solid brick. You don't have to worry about anything falling out or opening up when you're taking it out of the tuck case. But for me personally, I like the looseness of it. I like how I can be quite free with the deck, spread through it, kind of play with the deck and not feel like I'm actually handing a block. Now, obviously it goes without saying, if you're doing a signed coin inside here, I wouldn't be playing with it too much because the coin is thinner than obviously a ring and you could possibly have it slide out. Unless you are playing with it like this and ditching the coin into your finger palm, ready to make it appear somewhere else. Now, if your spectators really want to see this deck, which I don't think they will, I don't see why they would, but if they really want to see this deck, you've obviously ditched it into your pocket. So you're just going to go back into another pocket and pull out a regular deck. Now, like I mentioned, you've been so free with this deck, holding it, and the whole focus has been on the tuck case. Why would they expect this deck if you've done this right? Now, obviously this isn't a complete exaggeration. You wouldn't be holding the deck like this and showing the spectators, because that's just going to draw attention to the deck. But you've been free with the deck, you've been playing with it, you've been spreading it while you've been having that focus on the tuck case, and you just ditched this away and stolen the ring out. Now, if you went about the route of just having a rattlebox tuck case and not having the slider shell gimmick, another way you could also steal this object, you take the ring or the coin or whatever off the spectator and go to put it inside the tuck. And then what you're going to do is then close it up, take the tuck, and they can hear it inside, and same thing, hand that out, and you've also just stolen the ring away. Now, you probably figured this out, but this is how this would work. Is you take the ring or the coin off the spectator, push the tuck case and open a little bit like you're about to put it in, and all you're going to do is drop it down behind the tuck into your palm. You're then going to close up the tuck, close it up, and then just do a normal palm of the ring or the coin, go south with the ring, and just give the deck a shake. Then whenever they want, the ring is gone, and then when they open it up, nothing inside. Now, obviously, if this is the route you want to take, you obviously don't need this flap on the bottom. All you're going to need is the rattle gimmick inside the tuck case. Now, if the tuck case works so well, why bring the deck into this? Well, it is a great question. I actually really wanted my hands to be so free, so clean, so open, and not have the spectator see anything. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be holding my hands up here with the deck and showing everything off. It's more of a subliminal thing or just a little subtlety that the spectator might or might not notice. When they think back on it, they go, no, he was playing with the deck. Or if they ask their friend and they say, no, he was playing with the deck, he was springing the deck, he was shuffling the deck, whatever you want to do, they're going to misremember anyway. But if you're handling the deck or you go south with it or you're showing your hands while you're like holding it up here and having your hands open, they're not going to see the ring in your hands. Now, obviously this goes without saying, but this gimmick is going to take a little bit of practice to get used to. So much little fiddly bits, so many little moving parts, so much handling, and you got to watch your angles on this. But a little bit of practice, and you're going to get this down, and it's going to blow some spectators' minds. Now, I know what you're thinking. This might seem a little bit crazy, and that this won't get by any spectators. But that's the best part about this tuck case. I've designed it so it looks like nothing's going on, and if you built it right, they're not going to find out anything about the tuck case. It's going to look and feel and sound like a regular tuck case. Plus, with the audience management of how to handle the deck and showing how you want them to shake it when they shake it, or having their hand out nice and still, knowing what your spectator is about to do and know what your spectator's personality is. If you get a spectator that seems like they're going to mess with you, I would use someone else, or I'd put the tuck case on the table somewhere away from the spectator, but you can still pick it up and shake it and hear it going on. But if you seem like you can trust your spectator, get them to hold their hands out, put their hands on top, hold it, keep it safe. Give it a nice little rattle before you put it in their hands, or get them to put it in their hands and give it a rattle themselves, and they can hear it going on. Plus that sensory of like the actual feeling of the coin rattling about, you can actually feel it sliding about inside the box. It's beautiful. But yes, just a little bit of audience management to make sure your audience handles that tuck case like they should. Now look, I've taken up way too much of your time already, so go have fun with this. Film your performances. Tell me about your performances. Tell me what you liked and didn't like about it in the comment section below, or come and hang out on our Discord right now and tell me there what you want to talk about with this. I can't wait to hear what you do and say about it. But if you do film this, make sure you tag myself and Murphy's Magic in your videos. I'd love to see them and reshare them on our socials. But that's it. That's all we have time for Saturday Sorcery this week. Thanks again for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Again, I've been Beau Creamer. Have a great Saturday. Have a great weekend. Now, I'll see you on our Discord if you want to come chat about this or just want to come hang out, jam, do our trivia, whatever you want to do. Otherwise, I'll see you next week or for a What's New this week on Wednesday, a Stumped on Tuesday, or next Saturday for another Saturday Sorcery. Now, take care. See you later. Bye for now. Whoa, look at this. Well, so much good magic in there. You need to check this out. You're not going to regret it. I pinky promise you. Oh, whoa. Look at this. This shining diamond over here. What is this? Beautiful. You probably should click that if you haven't subscribed yet. But then you should definitely check out this because this is good. Treat yourself.